Welcome to Hilarity by Default's weekly Brisco County Jr. reviews, starring the astute chin of Bruce Campbell. This week, Brisco goes on a sting in Brisco County Jr. Episode 6, Riverboat. Brisco and Lord Bowler come to the aid of Socrates after he is swindled by gambler Brett Bones, one of the men who killed Brisco's father. The con is on as Brisco and the gang attempt to beat Bones at his own game. Meanwhile, denim is invented. Considered by many online to be one of, if not the best episode of the series. Kyle is under the impression that this is gonna be the night where the comets collide, that he and I are gonna completely disagree. So far, within half a comet, we've been on the same page. Kyle, what did you think of the Riverboat?
I thought it was a strong episode. Like, first of all, an episode with a name like the Riverboat, you know you're going to see Dixie Cousins. Anyways, so wait, that's Motorboat? Uh-oh. Okay. Anyways, so no, but yeah, overall, this episode I thought was very strong. Definitely had another one of these with a full cast of the Brisco characters. You got a bit of Socrates, got a bit of Bowler. You got Dixie Cousins coming in there. She wasn't perfectly introduced, but still better than you've seen in some other episodes, I must say. And there was just a lot going on there. And I think from top to bottom, all the elements were very cool. Granted, the episode, of course, and this is a mark that it's been missing lately. I need more Comet in my life. But he does make an appearance early enough and basically is a big part of it, as this is a lot where you don't really see Brisco bearing much of a firearm during the episode. It could be argued that it is at the suggestion of one Comet the Horse. It
could be argued that the first moment he's about to have a big gunfight, he's interrupted by a telegram.
You know, and there's so many things. If they try to do this, there's so many things in this episode that should not work.
Agreed.
And based on certain things you said in our production meeting and certain things that happened, I'm left the impression you're ready to take a giant dump all over this episode. But I know that I enjoyed myself thoroughly. I had a lot of fun with it.
So how do I sum up this episode? I think it has everything you want in a television Western episode. You have rigged boxing matches, sexual deception, suicidal telegram deliveries, and the invention of denim. No, I think not only is this episode fantastic, I think it's the best ensemble piece we have seen on the show to date. We have the magnificent return of Lord Bowler, who was MIA last week, and he comes barreling in. He actually probably sees more physical action in this episode than Brisco.
Facts.
Although I do want to note that one of the things I did notice about this is I felt like Brisco was a little bit more passionate and, dare I say, even angrier at certain moments in this episode. I don't think I've cheered harder on the show than after having seen Brisco having to put on that play act and see Wiley get abused, than him turning the corner and beating the crap out of the abusers. It was such a palpable excitement seeing that happen. And for something that, in all honesty, is not unexpected. It's played pretty straight, but I think it's the passion that Campbell brings to the role, and especially to this episode, that really sells that scene better than it's probably even written.
See, but I think that's a developing thing too. I think Brisco's getting more into it. Like, at first he's just kind of like, meh, I'm doing the thing because of the thing, and I'm a dad, but then doing the thing. Now he's been chasing blood. He's over this ish. He's trying to do some things. He's chasing everybody down. I think it's a build in the character. He's getting more and more vested in it because it's been more and more part of his central life. Not only now is this just about catching the Blythes, but now he's had time to befriend Socrates, to befriend Dixie Cousins, and hell, even he and Bowler are starting to become boys.
There are a lot of things in this episode that shouldn't work. They really shouldn't work. The one thing that jumps to mind as something that is beyond silly, but is awesome, is the Wheel of Death scene.
Yes.
It is silly beyond belief. The bad guys want to eviscerate Brisco. They tie him to a big casino wheel. They start spinning. The axe is thrown, Evil Dead style, at Bruce Campbell. But the thing that I really like about this scene, as silly as the setup is whenever you've seen something like this, another serial or a cartoon or a comic book, etc., it's usually solved with some sort of Deus Ex Machina. Somebody else swoops in, something happens, the bad guy misses, etc., etc., etc. I think that what really sells the scene and pumps it up to the level of awesomeness is the fact that Brisco finds a legitimate way out of it.
Exactly.
And kicks ass.
This isn't something where you heard same bat time, same bat channel. Some thought was put into this, okay? This isn't some of the trash like we've seen in the episodes past where, cowboys apparently shoot worse than stormtroopers or some trash like that.
Right?
Okay? Like Bruce Campbell, a.k.a. Brisco County, a.k.a. Roscoe Merriweather.
A callback to the first episode as well.
right on. AKA Chuck Finley. Wait, wrong show. So is spinning around, but like he's tall. It's not practical. So because he overextended a little bit because he's tall, he can grab the bar just so. Perfectly done. Perfectly done.
Now that you mention it, I did tune in to the same bat channel at the same bat time. And what I saw was Batman pulling some shiz out of his belt that we've never seen before, an axe repellent, let's just say, and he finds a way out.
All that aside, can I be honest, what I thought was going to happen? I really thought Comet was going to burst through the door. I'm not lying.
To be honest, that is exactly what I thought too.
Right.
It's definitely, beyond a doubt, inspired and set up like the classic film The Sting. And now this isn't something new. We've seen a lot of TV shows, especially in the late 70s to early 90s, doing their own version of The Sting. Hell, MacGyver did its own version of The Sting. With very rare exception, nobody has ever been able to match The Sting. Not that I'm saying that this episode does that. But I think that what this episode does that is very effective is that and what elevates it is the solution at the end. The twist, the trap that they set is unexpected, but logical within the universe and logical within the story that they built. They foreshadow it at the beginning of the episode perfectly. You don't think about it again until it's executed, and then you're just sitting back saying, well done.
That's a hell of a device in general that I think should be used more often. It's pretty damn clever, if you ask me. I can see some rich mofo in a state such as Louisiana being in good with the governor just so to where like, oh, you think it did some blanking pardon. I think it's just a good device that should be used more often and not just in other Westerns and shows of that period. Very surprised we haven't seen that more often. And to your point, listen, I didn't hear Admiral Akbar telling me it's a trap aboard that riverboat. Oh no, I was surprised.
Oh, it's a very well effective. I'm curious to see. Now, you have spoken ill of Dixie Cousins in the past. Now, you mentioned at the beginning of this episode that you thought that she was good in this. What makes her appearance in this better or an ascension of the character for you than in compared to her prior appearances?
So while it may appear more obvious to others when the idea of her trying to have her own thing and do her own thing, listen, although she may think that Bruce Campbell, a.k.a. Brisco County Jr., a.k.a. Roscoe Merriweather, is dreamy as hell, I mean, hey, don't we all? We also are very aware of Dixie's independence. So the fact that, in the words of the WWE star $1 Million Man, everyone's got a price, right? So we're exploring what Dixie's is. And it's presented in just a fashion that I'm like, oh, snap. They're building a redemption arc for Dixie Cousins. And then it's revealed later that that's true. I'm like, that's not true. And I'm like, well played, County. Well played. I mean, the TV show, not the character. This is confusing now.
So you think that the fake out involving her character was effective?
For me, it was, because it forced me. Again, I thought this was this. I was looking at it trying to be more than a default and put on my analyst hat. I'm like, oh, snap. This is an opportunity for a redemption arc. Completely fooled.
I think that the fake out would have been a little bit more effective if she hadn't appeared in so many episodes prior to this. I think that her appearing already and having rescued and having made out with and already establishing a very strong connection between her and Brisco kind of undermines that fake out for me.
The part that undermined it for you actually enhanced it for me. That's just the difference in our approaches there. Something I didn't like was the ending of the episode. And again, you know about me and endings. And jeez, it wasn't the plot. It was more, listen, to this part, Brett Bones was a very smooth and debonair style character. He didn't look the part. He did still kind of look like a villain and a brigand to the standpoint that you could believe him gunning down a marshal in cold blood, a.k.a. Brisco Sr., played by Arlie Ermy. But I have to I have to keep punching that when I can, by the way, because that's just so friggin' awesome. Anyway, so no, the part for me that was bad is at first, you know, Bones gives this response once he is busted, very much like, well played, County. And it should have been left at that, in my opinion. Maybe he says something smooth on his way out.
Rather than have an outburst.
Yeah, and he just has a brigand violent outburst. I'm like, no, this doesn't fit.
I concur. The thing that definitely should not have worked, other than the Wheel of Death, would have been, for me, the opening telegram. But the exchange is just so hilariously out of place. I can't help but love it. The way I've described Brisco County Jr. is it's a tongue-in-cheek Western. It doesn't stick that tongue out. That scene came very, very close to seeing just the tip of the tongue start coming out. But I don't know if I need to censor that, but Lord Bowler, I truly enjoyed in this episode. He kicked ass. I loved his reaction to thinking that he won and then realizing that the fight has not yet been fought.
He's gonna kill me.
Here he is in top form. This is the first time that Brisco calls upon him as a true ally rather than as a competitor. And I think that's one of the reasons and one of the stronger elements that brings this ensemble piece together.
He's gonna kill me.
Lord Bowler is the man. And he, you know what? I think you mentioned at a production meeting that you thought that this was one of the rare, true effective cases of reverse psychology played in a TV episode.
I'm really glad you brought that up because, for anybody else, there's a part in there when he's fighting Dynamite a second time, which, by the way, the actor couldn't have been better chosen to play Dynamite. That dude is ripped. And you completely can believe that he's a pawn all at the same time. But, like, there's still a charm to him for some reason. He still looks like a big bully champion. Like, anything short of putting a Superman S on his chest is the kind of champion he looks like. I'm pretty sure you could give this guy a shield and cast him as He-Man if he has any charisma. I digress. The punchline being this. When he is getting his ass whooped, Bowler makes a comeback. And the way it happens is when he's knocked down again, Roscoe Merriweather, a.k.a. Brisco County Jr., leans over to him and goes, "That's okay. We knew he was going to whoop you anyway." And because Bowler is what he is and has an ego as well, the way he pops back up and starts doing fits this character so absolutely well.
So despite the fact that Brisco brings him on as an ally, they still maintain that uber competitive nature between the two, which makes his character work so well as a pair.
Exactly.
How many comets would you give Riverboat?
This is a strong 4. If we were into doing Solomon with comets and doing half comets, he's easily a 4.5 with the horse's head as the half.
I agree with you 100%. I love this episode. I think it's fantastic. When it's not my personal favorite yet, I don't think it's reached the heights of the second episode, but essentially as a fun ensemble piece, this is clearly the second in contention at the moment to be my second favorite in the show so far.
Okay, then I guess I was wrong about you not liking it.
So join us every week as we cover all 27 episodes of the adventures of Brisco County Jr. We invite you to watch along and let us know in the comments below what your thoughts are on each episode, and make sure to like and subscribe for more fun on Hilarity by Default.